Alright, YouTube's on. See how long it stays on before it goes crazy.
Oh yeah, where's that stuff I got? Oh, I got to read something.
Here's G.
Kissing and then the hand sign and then telling, crass and then the word and. I should have. I didn't ask her to give me a card last
That's
time.
okay. I don't need to call.
I told her in Florida, we went to a track show and she made a bunch of signs. And it was right here.
Okay, if y'all heard me singing, stand by. You'll hear more. I had the mic turned up.
Do we have to stand up?
I did. I had the mic turned up.
Do I have to stand up?
For what?
You know when those things came on the TV back in the day where it says, please stand by, get up, stand by the TV?
No, you can stand by while you're on your butt. It's all right.
Stand by.
Stand by for Deuce. The guy, he's getting ready to be the guest of honor. What do we? Well, that's a start. Okay, now you're going to watch the people are going to be watching. Say, oh, got the wrong channel. Oh, I'm going to watch this channel for a while. Take it off. Take it all off. All right, it's 7:00. Mike. I know you know what that song is from, right? Back in 1974, it was the theme from Jaws.
That's the movie that ruined my ocean days.
I just don't do my butt in the water.
At a beach in northern North Carolina, surf fishermen hooked the big one that didn't get away, at least not at first. Pay attention to the details. These guys were fishing from the beach. They're surf fishing. Obviously, their lines are not very far from shore. I'll put it to you like this. The big one was as close as swimmers play when the water is warm. Yep, that's right where y'all swim. The big one in this case was a shark, not as big as Jaws in the 1970s movie by the same name. The anglers battled the shark, though, for quite a while, gaining on him inches at a time. Finally, the big fish could be seen from stem to stern to headed up on the beach, pretty much in the surf on the beach. Estimates on his length from the people at the scene ranged from 12 to 13 feet. Nobody wanted to hold a tape measure out there. Nobody wanted to lie down beside it. From the pictures, I'd say that was about right. The girth of the fish and everything else. He's looked to be probably 12, 13, 14 feet long. He looked about the same length as a 13-foot Boston whaler that I once owned. So this shark was pulled in, then it was freed, returned to the ocean to resume its habit of eating and eating and eating some more. Those who can tell one shark species from another want you to remember Jaws from the movie. What kind of shark was that? Do y'all remember what kind of shark this was in Jaws?
A big one.
What shark is responsible for a lot of shark bite and fatalities in Australia and South Africa?
Great whites.
Are you surprised that a 12-foot great white was caught while it was on patrol in 10 to 15 feet of water, 30 to 40 feet from shore here in North Carolina? Right where you guys love to go surfing and fishing and swimming. You know, the sharks can operate in 2 to 3 feet of water.
I don't know.
A big one can. The big ones will rush a school of fish that are right up in the beach. They will rush them from offshore a little bit, and they will rush them. They will half beach themselves as they grab a mouthful, and then wiggle out till they get back into the ocean as the waves come in.
Dun, dun,
That's dedicated, isn't it?
Yeah.
dun, dun.
Yes. Anyway, I always liked that movie. It was interesting, and
It's good.
so it was kind of crazy that the week that I was headed for Florida in 1974 to go fishing, to go diving on a vacation,
Mhm.
I saw the movie Jaws that weekend and left on Sunday to go to Florida. I said, "Boy, you really got to be kidding me." Anyway.
You know, growing up, we used to go out to Scotch Bonnet, and we did a lot of surfing, a lot of bodyboarding. Then that movie came out.
Into that one.
I'd go out to my knees, and the seaweed just barely scraped my leg. I was out of the water.
Yeah.
It just, that movie frightened
So
me.
then you went surfing in Catherine's Lake, right?
Seriously, on a paddle boat with a fishing pole.
Anyway, good morning. I'm Rayford Brown.
Good morning, I'm Lee Barrows.
And we got the donkey man's in the house one more time.
And Donkey Man, don't forget, I need a load of fertilizer.
Okay, yeah, I'll see if I can't take care of that.
I figured you would.
I will
About time for me to coat my
get started.
beds out there because I got
You really test me with things you say.
what?
I need a load of fertilizer.
That's what it is. Basically, I mean,
It's Friday Eve.
you got to understand the stuff they make some fertilizers out of. I mean,
Tim?
just like when you found the fish emulsion, and colonial times, that's what they used.
Well, I remember living at Catherine Lake, and this was about the time of the year where they put down all the fertilizers, and it was rough. It was real rough out there.
Timmy got a call over there. Hey, hello. How old are you? I got that one twice yesterday. They want to know how old I am.
I had good news though. They want to know how old you are?
Yeah, why? They want to know how old I am because they were offering burial insurance.
Well, anybody can die at any age.
I know that, but they said the state has got a new burial plan.
The state.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it was the state calling you.
The state of confusion.
State.
I got to leave a little earlier than what I anticipated.
Uh-oh, not a good one. Not
Yeah,
a good one.
they moved my appointment.
Move your permit.
My appointment, yeah, for my blood work this morning.
Well, we can do that here.
Well, yeah,
can-
but I prefer not to.
I can get you a little
They
bottle. You just empty that water bottle out.
The phlebotomist looks a whole lot better than you do.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Does that make it any easier?
It does to me.
a man or
I
woman?
ain't quite that old.
Man or woman, Tim?
It's a woman. What do you think? I swear.
Yeah.
You forget I'm a wham,
Well,
working heterosexual American male. That's just,
Oh, yeah. I'm just
Yeah,
trying to
very
spell
good.
wham. I don't know.
wham.
well.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, wham. W-H-A-M.
When I went to my eye doctor yesterday, boy, they dilated my eyes.
You can see better. couldn't
Don't you just hate that when they
Yeah.
do that? Which I was fine till I got home, and then all of a sudden I had such a headache. I slept for like 4
back in the
hours.
day, those guys who did all the drugs and all that, especially that psychedelic stuff,
Right.
they got the same feeling. So all they had to do was go to the doctors and dilate my eyes instead of taking all that mess that was bad for them.
Wow. Yeah. Well, at least it's not as bad as it used to be. It used to be the stuff that they used to dilate your eyes. You couldn't see 5 feet in front of you for hours. Now what they give you, it's not as bad. And you can actually, I mean, I was sitting in the office waiting for them to come back in. And I was reading everything on the wall.
It's
And I
kind of
was
like wearing night vision goggles and you're in totally dark. I mean, absolutely
Yes.
dark. And somebody turns the lights on in a room or a car comes straight at you and it's like, oh my Lord of mercy.
yeah, it was the
Your-
fastest appointment I've
Your
ever
eyes
had
will
there.
be dilated when it's dark, totally dark. And then you
Right.
get suddenly a blast of light. They can determine how good your eyes are by how fast they close down.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they don't close real fast.
Today's the dentist. I'm getting everything done in 1 week.
Yeah.
Who's got the best airplane story of the day?
Airplane story.
Airplane story.
Oh my gosh, there's been so many of them. There was one that turned around mid-flight over the Atlantic yesterday because the bathrooms quit working. and
Just fly down low and hang out.
it's been one story every day. There's a story, but I think we're just seeing
Well,
so many
I got
stories.
the West
now.
one, I think. Then
Okay.
this one might be for the books. Comes from the Sunshine State.
Of
That's
course.
Florida.
Yeah.
Right.
The pilot of a The small plane was preparing to take off.
Oh.
Guys headed towards the runway out there, right? Waiting.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden, a big old strong gust of wind lifted the plane up, moved it around a bit, then dropped it to the ground, not where it was before. Story doesn't stop there. Palmetto police say the plane was blown off course when it was sent into the air, and when it dropped to the ground, it struck a parked truck.
What?
Yeah, it had a collision with a truck.
I would have got off that plane, headed for the terminal, called a taxi, and be done.
From police pictures, the plane was pretty well messed up. Looked like it's total to me. The pilot and a passenger were taken to the hospital with unknown injuries, and the passenger said, "Huh, what plane? Not me, Bubba. I'm going with Lee. Get me an Uber."
Yeah.
Okay, y'all. March is a windy month. We all know March is a windy month. One that perhaps should be reserved for kites only.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the FAA, with congressional help, can ban flying all small planes in March. What do you think? 11 months of the year is enough to fly around in small planes. What do y'all pilots think?
I'll
get
tell you,
everybody in trouble, why not?
Did they say how many people were on that plane?
2. It's a little plane.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a little 2-seater.
Yeah, I don't know,
Okay.
4-seater possibly. But anyway, it was a little plane, and the pilot was getting ready to fly this dude somewhere.
I would have. He'd say, "Okay, we're going to give it a little while, then go back up." I'd be like, "Nope,
No, not in that plane at all.
it
That
might
plane's
take
done.
me 12 hours, but I'll see you wherever we're going."
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I'm done.
I got a thumb. It can, get on the side of the road.
That's
see
enough
what
to.
happens.
Sure.
I was like, I've been in a lot of small planes. I just can't imagine sitting there and all of a sudden waiting to get the clearance to take off, and the plane suddenly goes straight up because the wind going across the wings is what lifts the plane.
Yeah.
Lord of mercy.
I
would be. Where is my weight belt? Let's drag. Where's the anchor? Y'all got an anchor on this sucker? Let's drag that anchor for a while.
Well, wouldn't you think the pilot would know it was windy before he got out there and taxied on the runway?
There's a thing called gust. You're
Well,
standing out. Well, there's always this time of year. Look at
Right,
the weather
that's what I'm
forecast
saying.
today. It's going to say
gusts as high as 29 miles an
Yeah.
hour in a little
winds
plane
running.
like that.
Winds are running about 10 miles an hour. Gust to 30.
Mhm.
And suddenly that gust comes up. Boom, boom, you're
You
up.
you need to keep your little wings in the terminal.
Keep your what?
Your little wings. I mean, why go out on the terminal? I mean, it's gusty.
Your little wings.
It's gusty. You stand a chance, and you're just a little plane.
Okay.
Not a good day for flying. Just like you don't go out to the
I think
seas when
next
they're
year we need to have something in this
7
around
to
here.
9 feet.
We don't have one, and they do have them in other parts of the world. And we've got all of the perfect location for it, perfect opportunities for it. Why don't we sponsor or get somebody, maybe we could promote somebody else to sponsor a kite flying contest? I haven't seen one.
In years.
Yeah, but they have them around the world.
That could be the annual festival
Wouldn't
for
it be
Jacksonville.
great in March to have something like that on the beach?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
You ain't going swimming, I hope. But have
Yeah.
a flight kite.
Do people even fly kites anymore?
I don't know. I've told a lot of people to do
To
it.
go
but-
fly a kite. Yeah, go fly a kite.
well, it was the polite way of saying something else.
I used to love to fly
Yeah,
kite on
I
the
did
boat.
We
too.
understand.
I
You
enjoyed it.
used to be able to buy those kites for 10 cents.
Yeah.
10 cents. You
I
put them
wonder how much
together.
they are now.
$500.
Yeah.
I was in
see.
high cotton when I bought a box kite.
Let's check Amazon.
That was like
See how much-
59
I had
cents.
one in my. I didn't like it
I didn't either
I-
because I crashed it all the
yeah,
time.
me
It didn't
too.
tear
I
it
could
up.
not get it to fly like I wanted it to.
We, of course, in my family, the kite twine is what they called it. Kite
Mhm.
string, kite twine was really lightweight stuff, right?
Yeah.
Because those kites, you got to get them to lift up. But there, it was interesting. That was more expensive than the kite.
I just found a 3-pack large kites for adults and kids, $22.59. That's for 3.
I should have bought all those things back then and saved them.
And most of them come in 3 packs.
I
Oh,
couldn't.
here's a nice one for $15.99.
as a kid, I used to think that I don't need to spend a dime. I can make one.
Yeah.
So I got me some dowel rods and some newspaper. That's too heavy. It doesn't fly.
Well,
It will not work unless you're maybe at 100-mile-an-hour winds.
You talking about the kite string? I use 4 mil tobacco twine.
Well, that will work.
It was cheap.
Yeah, you know what I used? Fishing line.
I
Fishing
use the
line, there
kite
you
kit
go.
and
I mean, we
string.
had plenty of that around the house.
I use a kite kit and string that you got from Rose's back then.
But did it
Roses
how,
was the store.
how often did you run trying to get that kite to go airborne?
Oh yeah,
Like
that
20
was-
miles.
That's where I learned to run.
I wanted to tie it to my horse and run her down, run her off.
Oh, that would be cool. Yeah,
But I'd get
do
out in
it.
the pasture and do it. And gosh, sometimes you couldn't get it to fly. And
No.
you ain't got enough tail. Well, okay.
Yeah, I forgot about that. They had to put a tail on it.
I put a tail on it.
Go rip up somebody's underwear or something
Yeah.
for the back of it. Had to weight it down. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay.
Oh yeah, that's right. We used to
Mama
tear up
always-
T-shirts and
Yeah,
stuff.
Mama
and
get me
tie
a
it on
piece
there.
of fabric and we'd make a tail.
Those were the good days.
Well, it
Growing
was,
up as kids.
it's
Didn't
fun
cost
having
you
stuff
nothing.
like that. Anybody been flying a kite
But
lately?
yeah,
Of course,
that's
how many kites do you remember seeing caught up in power lines?
Oh, yeah.
It was routine.
Watch, it's getting close. Stop.
It run away from you.
But yeah,
And
every
those
year-
guys are what got me. That kite's up
Oh,
there, and all of
yeah.
a sudden takes a nose.
every year I'd go to
Absolutely.
Roses in early March and get a kite.
See, Roses. I'm telling you, that
That's
was the
where I
go-to
went.
store.
I mean, but that's where you went. You went to
You went
Sears
to
and Roses,
Right.
which was dime store.
Right.
And they always had
Five
a
and
huge
dime.
five. Well, I'm not as
Rock
old as
core.
you are, because
Uh-huh.
so we just called it dime store. And they had the biggest toy section in Jacksonville.
Yep.
And Mama go in there and go shopping. I went to the toy section just looking.
Okay,
But
so where in which Roses did you go to?
went to one
New River Shopping
Okay,
Center.
from
That's
way
right.
back when. Then
Yeah.
that's I
Yeah.
remember
That's
when that,
back. New River Shopping Center was huge.
oh
That was
when that came online
store.
around here. I mean, it was like whoa.
Peck's Bakery.
Oh, spent it every
yeah.
morning at
Eclairs.
Brooks.
Those real honest to goodness chocolate eclairs. I've eaten
Yeah.
a lot since then. I've never had any like it.
Hot chocolate.
No.
He
Peck's
took
Bakery.
such good care of kids. Mom would go into the A&P to shop. My brother and I'd go into Peck's and get a glazed donuts and some hot chocolate.
Yeah.
He was such a wonderful man.
And the
God.
steakhouse, the New River Steakhouse,
New River
Mhm.
Steakhouse.
Mr. Rollis,
That's right.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
best prime rib and the best ribeye steaks at that time that I'd ever had. Couldn't cook them anywhere else.
Fantastic
No way to
burgers
cook.
too. Daddy
about-
going
I
to eat
didn't
a
have
steak and I'd eat.
How about the New River Pharmacy with their little food court in there? You
Mhm.
go in there,
Had a
sit
little-
down,
Little,
those old timey chairs
Yep.
and stools and stuff.
Well, just like the old Rose's cafeteria, you go in there and eat a little old ham and biscuit. It was that
I
big.
forgot
For a nickel.
about that.
And it had enough salt on it to make your blood pressure go up for a year. But you go in there and sit down in it. It had a little cage. It had it caged off, fenced off.
I remember that.
Yeah,
now.
had it fenced
Gosh.
off for health purposes.
What's that?
That's
You go
why-
in, it was on the left, wasn't it?
Yeah, you went in. It was you go about what middle way, and it was on the
Yeah.
left. Yeah,
Yeah. God,
and
forgot
always
about that.
and popcorn. You
So
can always
little.
get popcorn. Yeah.
Do you remember the Roses that was downtown on Court Street?
I really don't.
Mm-mm, I don't.
No, I remember JHA Mats because that's
Yeah,
where we
okay.
always
That was
went
a
and get our
hardware- that was a
overhauls.
hardware store.
Hardware store, but that's where you got your overhauls.
And you could get a horse collar in there too.
Yes, sir.
You know the other place that had a horse collar for sale?
I don't.
I don't know that he ever sold one, but he had one for sale all the time. Whaley's Supermarket.
Oh, well.
Okay,
on
yeah.
Onslow
Where they
Drive.
soaked the chickens. That
Yeah.
was always the word. And what was he always soaked the
Soak the
chickens
chickens.
before he put them out there for
Yeah,
sale? That's
he
what
did.
everybody always said.
And then you could go in there and get a custom cut steak.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You
Trimmed
can
it
get
the
one
way you
inch-
want it.
yeah,
But
how you want it.
as you want it.
Daddy, I got that fat on it, and they'd be that
Yeah.
much fat hanging off the side of it. Yes, sir. And be how thick you want it? Well, I want 1.25 inches. Daddy always
And
said
it would be an inch and a quarter.
it'd be 1.25 inches.
They
That
cook
was
better
always
like
the
that.
place to go to get
It
your
did.
meats. Yes.
Yep, it was. You either went there, you went to Piggly Wiggly, and F.G. Bryan was the butcher at the Piggly Wiggly in
I couldn't
Richlands,
remember his name.
and he would do the same. He cut it like he wanted. It was him and Mike Huffman. They were the butchers for years and years and years. Because Daddy would have can't do it no more. But Daddy, if he had a dog that was a little underweight, which that wasn't often, he'd go in there and he'd say, FG, I need some saw cuttings. So FG would clean the saw out
Right.
and he'd bag it.
Yeah.
And he'd give it to
The remnants.
to the hunter. Yeah. And they'd take it, put it in food, and it was pure protein. I mean, just pure protein, and it bring a dog out now.
Down here in about a mile and a half, about 2 miles down the road here, there's a place called Morton's.
Yeah, Morton's. Yep,
Morton's had this. He cut the meat the way you wanted it,
he sure did.
and it was
Community Meat Center, I think.
Community
it was.
Meat Center.
It was used to be just Morton's store before it became Community Meat Center. But anyway, that was the place.
Yeah.
It was a store, but he
Yeah.
had a big meat section.
Well,
in the back.
his last 4 digits on his phone number were 1212.
Really.
And
That
I
is
had a
so
phone number
weird.
that was 1212. Only mine was 324, and his was either 455 or 347.
That is so weird.
People would call the house. I like to order some meat. Well, you got the wrong one. I said, you need to call. And we used to sit there and laugh over that. Yeah, I ain't. And I would also get, and I was working at warehouse, but I had a phone over my bed. And I'd be laying there dead asleep in the daytime. All of a sudden, the phone would ring, and I'd wake up. I need to find the phone number for so-and-so. Well, this is not information.
Mhm.
Because they'd be from another state. It was like 1-800 something 1212.
Right.
Right.
And what they would do, they'd do the 800, they'd do the 324.
1212.
They'd do the 324 and they called me. Well, it got to the habit. I had a phone book by the bed. Well, wait a minute, while I'm here, and I'll flip the phone book. Here's the number, but this is not information. Dial directory. But I've done that, man.
It's so weird that you brought up that phone number because this happened this morning on my way in. And I didn't plug my phone in, but when I hit the phone button on my display on my dash, it gave me a list of contacts. I just accidentally hit it. Had all the names of people, but on the very top of the list was the number 910-455-1212. And I said, does that belong to a business or somebody? I need to go to my phone and put that in my contacts under a name. But it was that number, 455-1212. And that was just this morning. We need to call that number, see who it belongs to.
Well,
With your phone, not mine.
before cell phones came out, all those long haul truck drivers, we had an 800 number we could call home.
Mhm.
And it was 25 cents a minute. That was a lot. You didn't
Yeah.
talk much. And mine was 800-324-1492.
I
And
remember that date.
I would call that, and I'd call home.
I know who it is now. I'm sorry to interrupt. It's
No,
the
no.
Jones Company. It's George Jones's business, I believe.
Okay.
Huh.
Yeah, and because I used to have to call him for different things, and that's who it is.
But
Jones
now,
Company.
today, if you
No.
walk in the Petro truck stop
That's wrong.
where the driver's lounge is, right there on the, they don't have the phones anymore, but they still have the outlet where the phone was.
Mhm.
And but one of them had a phone. You just sit down and eat your meal that night or day or whatever. You pick up the phone, you dial your number, and it went straight to the house.
All right. Works too.
I was wrong on that. That's what it brought it up as, but
That's not the number.
that's not the number.
Okay, enough silliness.
Coming
Coming up this morning in a little while. A little Miller time going around here.
Yes, I have questions.
We're going to pass the Miller, see what's going on. We're going to pass Chris Miller around the room, beat him up a little bit, and see what's happening with him. And we'll take your calls today. I think we're kind of wide open, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we're wide open. We're not right, but we're
You know,
we're just
I-
not right.
Just a hair off.
Yeah,
Just a hair off.
So anyway, give us a call if you want to. And by the way, the telephones were working 100% yesterday. I checked them with Spectrum, and they reprogrammed stuff, and they got things working right. So I'm assuming I did not check them this morning. I should have, but I was busy with the kitty cat. You can call us at 910-333-0139, and if somebody calls that number, we got them on the air, you hear them on the air, and you try to call that number again and you get a busy signal, let me know. Just let me know, because then things ain't right and I won't have to check it myself.
Yeah.
See, we can use y'all. We can use you for things. Okie dokie.
You're not going to believe whose telephone number that is. Jacksonville High School. That's why he gave me Jones Company, because it's right.
Yeah.
I guess. I don't know. But I knew that number. Okay.
One thing, folks, you guys with boats and whatever, one rule you might want to consider before taking your prize boat out, because those suckers are expensive, pound for pound and foot for foot. They're more expensive than Air Force One, I think. Check the weather forecast. If thunderstorms are predicted, stay home. If everything was great when you left the dock or boat ramp, keep an eye on the horizon, regardless of what the forecast is. Dark clouds are often a sign of thunderstorms. On the water, lightning, dangerous and deadly. There's nowhere to hide. And even if you decide to try and outrun the storm, which way are you going to go? Do you have any clue? Local boaters in Pender County are some lucky guys today, but they're a very nice twin-engine boat, looked to be about 28 feet long, was destroyed. Lightning hit the boat while it was at a dock at a marina in Hempstead. You hadn't heard about that one, had you?
No.
Where's she been? It caught fire, then it sank at the dock. The owner, working with a salvage company and the Coast Guard to get the area cleaned up, they got the boat out. I saw the pictures of it on the trailer. It was not pretty. It was not pretty at all. Luckily, no one was hurt. So that's a word for the day. If you see the place you do not want to be is underneath a tree on a golf course, the only tree out there, like so many people do when a thunderstorm pops up, or on a boat anywhere, because you are the highest point for miles and miles around. You ever thought about that? Even in a skiff, a 13-foot Boston waiter, you are the tallest thing on that ocean right there, unless there's a bigger boat close to you. Somebody's ringing you up.
Yes.
Speaking of boats, looking at the marine forecast, you might want to listen up here.
What?
Come in.
I was like, yes, God.
Small craft advisories in
God.
effect through this afternoon. Gale warnings in effect from this evening through late tonight. It's okay right now. Winds out of the south 10 to 15 knots. That's going to end about midday, becoming southwesterly 20 to 25 with gusts to 30 knots this afternoon. Planes, beware. Boats, beware. Seas 5 to 7 feet. Near shore, seas 2 to 3. Building to 4 to 6 this afternoon. Sounds and rivers a moderate chop, becoming rough in the afternoon. Tomorrow, northwesterly winds 20 to 25 knots, diminishing to 15 to 20 in the afternoon. Gusts up to 30. Seas 5 to 8. 3 to 5 near shore. Sounds and rivers rough, diminishing to choppy in the afternoon. And on Saturday, southwesterly winds 15 to 20, increasing to 20 to 25 in the afternoon. Gusts up to 30, 5 to 7 footers, 3 to 5 near shore. Don't even think about it. Just go build some fishing tackle and get ready for next month. Sounds and rivers too rough in the afternoon.
Today, mostly sunny with a 8, south wind 12 to 17 miles per hour in the afternoon, with wind gusts as high as 29. Tonight, showers and possibly a thunderstorm this evening with a low around 42. Friday, sunny with a high near 61. And Saturday, sunny with a high near 72. Beautiful.
Okay, we read a lot of stuff about politics, and we've asked you a question a couple of days this week, and we got a couple of responses.
Well, let's ask Tim.
But we're going to ask y'all, and we'll ask Timmy here again just a second too. But the question for the day again, for the week is, if you are a devout Trump supporter, you really love the man. You overlook everything about him, yada, yada, yada. Okay, so you like him. You voted for him. You support him. Good. You vote for somebody, you should support him as president. But as it is with any relationship, you can probably find some things about that person that you don't like. Sometimes it's best to keep your mouth shut about things like that. But is there anything that up to 3 things that even if you're the most devout Trump person in the area, is there anything that you would like him to change? what would it be? Now, if you are one of those guys that has hated Trump, you don't even like his hair, you don't like his fingernails, you don't like anything about him, you don't like that he's from New Jersey and New York and, Yankee Land, you just don't like him. Is there anything he's done that you do like? Yeah, you can usually find something good in everybody. Adolf Hitler, he's dead. I can find something good about him. He's dead. He's not going to hurt anybody else.
No.
So, I can find things good about most people. Some of them because they're dead, but that's about it. So give us a call and share with us what your thoughts are about, and we've had a couple of callers this week, but I'm just kind of like to know what it is. Now, before we ask Timmy about that, I really hope someone screwed up. But if someone involved did not screw up, then President Trump has likely screwed up royally. Mm-hmm. I think it's been explained, and he is going to fix this issue. You ever heard of the Navajo code talkers?
Yes.
There was a movie about the World War II men. During the war, we were having problems with the Germans intercepting our communication strategy talks and stuff like that. Our plans, our war plans were being discussed. Well, American soldiers suffering as a result of those messages. It came to light that the Navajo language had never been written down. Mm-hmm. That it was highly unlikely that any of our enemies could translate messages that were translated into Navajo first, then sent to Navajo Indians on the receiving end to be translated back to the Americans so we could keep its superior edge that we had going for us. Those men have long since been considered heroes, and rightfully so. But in keeping with what someone is claiming, the Marine Corps, this was disgusting to hear this. The Marine Corps removed more than a dozen videos, photos, and stories about Navajo code talkers as part of what they claim is an ongoing Trump administration purge of policies, programs, and materials that highlight diverse groups of service members such as women and minorities.
No.
On Tuesday, the Marine Corps identified 16 posts about the historic World War II group that were tied to National Native American Heritage Month and removed them to adhere to Donald Trump's executive orders and Pentagon policy. The service is keeping more than 540 pieces of content related to the code talkers on its sites. That's not all. Marine Lieutenant Colonel Joshua Benson, don't know where Mr. Benson is, said that Heritage Month posts about the Montford Point Marines, the first black service members to join the Corps during the onset of World War II, who faced racial discrimination at the segregating training camp known as Montford Point these days, were also removed. He did not provide the number of posts that were removed or how many remain.